Again, our members get a 20-page journal every month that's filled with ideas. They get access to our online repository of videos, strategies, examples. But if you're not a member and you'd like to test the Power Tools newsletter, it's free. Go ahead and fax on your letterhead. Again, just fax me a note, 877-576-6752. All right, we're going to go out to California. Looks like a cell phone. Go ahead and start speaking and I'll hear you.
I'm guessing it's me.
That's you.
Okay, so my question is, well, it's maybe multiple questions, but it's kind of all the same question, is separation of practice areas in marketing. I have two partners in the law firm, and to some extent we have three pretty disparate practice areas. And, for example, we do personal injury, bankruptcy, and evictions. And currently we have three separate websites for each of those practice areas. And we're about to start up again a newsletter, hopefully stick with it this time. And I guess my question is, does it make sense both in the web area and in the newsletter to separate those things, to have three separate newsletters, or does it make more sense to just have one newsletter and let everyone know what you're doing? Our thought on it has always been to separate it so that you appear that that's what you do and that you're not just a jack of all trades. Right.
So it's a great question and one that is frequently asked, and I applaud you for having sort of three different websites. So the question is, disparate practice areas in a firm. First, how do we sort of market outwardly to people? The more you market yourself as a specialist or as limited to an area, the more you're going to track that person, for example, who is looking for a bankruptcy attorney and finds your bankruptcy website. If they're looking at a website that is devoted to bankruptcy and they tool over in 3 minutes to another lawyer's website that's got 7 different practice areas that are not very well related, they will perceive you to be the expert in the bankruptcy field. Same thing if we go back to the old days, got yellow page ads. If one ad says, dog bite cases only, and the other ad's got 20 practice areas, one of which is dog bite, the perception will be that the one lawyer is a specialist. So our advice, and we can tussle all day long with the SEO specialists and my buddy Tom Foster about this, but our advice would be to you, particularly, to keep those 3 separate websites. Now, it becomes a matter of economics and time, because we got to feed them. We got to feed them with content. We have to do all of the things you would do with one website. And so, we think you have to have sort of the resources, the personnel resources there to feed good, fresh, interesting content. Now, we've always taught, though, that once someone comes into your herd, so they're in your tribe, they've responded to the evictions or the bankruptcy or the PI world, that newsletter is the perfect media to now cross-sell your services. And once they are into your world and perceive you as expert in personal injury law, the fact that in the newsletter you're now introducing your partner Joe over here who does bankruptcy cases is not going to, in our view, reduce your firm's stature in either one of those 2 practice areas. In fact, often one of the sort of secret little methods of getting an interesting newsletter out the door, even if you're only doing PI cases, is to have guest articles from other practice areas, from other lawyers in the community in your newsletter. So we want that newsletter to be interesting enough to be opened and read every month. And I think you've got it set up just right. I would, so if assuming these newsletters are going to consumers, I would keep it the way you are. Now, were you to ever branch out and say, hey, we've got the money and the personnel capital to create newsletters for lawyers who refer stuff to us. Now for the bankruptcy cases, I'm sending a bankruptcy-only newsletter out to the lawyers that I want to refer bankruptcy cases to me. So you get that? You get sort of the difference there?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, I do.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're doing it exactly right. And what I would focus on is making sure I'm feeding those 3 websites what they need to be fed, which is good, fresh, interesting content. and then inviting people to explore the rest of the firm once they're in the herd. Congratulations.